He was not born into power, nor did he inherit wealth or privilege. His journey was not one of ease but of resilience, determination, and an unshakable belief in the power of hope. He emerged from a background that many would consider ordinary, yet he rose to heights that reshaped history. His name would one day be etched in the annals of time, not because of his lineage, but because of his vision, his words, and his ability to unite a nation divided by history, ideology, and struggle. His story began far from the corridors of power. Born to a mother from the heartland of America and a father from a distant continent, his very existence was a testament to diversity, to the merging of different worlds. As a child, he traveled between cultures, witnessing firsthand the vast differences in wealth, opportunity, and identity. These experiences shaped his understanding of the world, teaching him that the barriers separating people were not as rigid as they seemed, that beneath the surface, all human beings shared common hopes and dreams. His early years were filled with self-discovery. He was a thinker, a seeker, a young man searching for his place in a world that did not always welcome those who straddled multiple identities. He excelled in education, not merely as a student of books but as a student of life, absorbing lessons from history, literature, politics, and the struggles of ordinary people. He walked the streets of communities where opportunities were scarce, where hope often seemed like an illusion, and it was there that he found his purpose. He did not seek fame or fortune, he sought change. He began his career not in the high offices of government but in the neighborhoods of the forgotten, among the people who felt abandoned by the promises of progress. He worked as a community organizer, listening, learning, empowering others to find their voice. He believed in the strength of unity, in the idea that change was not a gift bestowed from above but a movement that began with the people. His voice carried weight, not because of its volume but because of its sincerity. He spoke not in empty rhetoric but in words that inspired, words that reminded people of their own strength. He understood the frustrations of the working class, the aspirations of immigrants, the fears of those who felt unseen. He knew that politics was often a battleground of interests, but he believed that it could also be a force for good. With time, he moved from the streets to the halls of government, but he did not forget where he came from. He stood in the Senate, not as an insider, but as a man who had walked the path of the people. His message was not one of division but of unity. He spoke of a future where race, class, and background did not define a person's destiny. He spoke of hope not as an abstract idea but as a force capable of transforming nations. Then came the moment that would change history. Against all odds, he stood before millions, not as a symbol of the past, but as a beacon of the future. He shattered barriers that had stood for centuries, proving that in a democracy, the power truly lay with the people. He was not simply a leader, he was a movement, a testament to what was possible when hope was stronger than fear. His time in power was not without challenges. He faced opposition from those who feared change, from those who clung to old ways, from those who doubted his vision. Wars raged, economies faltered, divisions deepened, yet he did not waver. He fought for justice, for healthcare, for diplomacy over conflict, for the idea that a nation is strongest when it stands together rather than apart. He believed in the responsibility of leadership, in the duty to uplift, to inspire, to leave behind a world better than the one inherited. Even when the weight of the presidency grew heavy, he carried it with grace. He did not rule with an iron fist, nor did he seek personal glory. He was not perfect, but he was principled. He was not invincible, but he was determined. He understood that true leadership was not about power, it was about service, about giving a voice to the voiceless, about standing firm even when the path was uncertain. And when his time in office came to an end, he did not retreat into silence. He continued to speak, to guide, to remind the world that the fight for justice, equality, and dignity never ends. He knew that his legacy was not just in the policies he passed but in the millions he inspired to believe in something greater than themselves. His name will be remembered not just for the office he held but for the hope he reignited, the barriers he broke, the ideals he stood for. He was a man who believed in the power of words, in the strength of unity, in the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Who am I? I am Barack Obama.